Hi, welcome to Business Time. I am Melisha. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Today, we will be looking at the Principles of Business, May June 2018, Paper 2 exam paper. 1A1 says, define the term organizational chart. An organizational chart is a diagrammatic or pictorial representation of the structure of an organization. It shows the lines of authority that is in an organization. 2 says, state 2 rules that should be followed when constructing organizational charts. Think of what you had to do when you were drawing an organizational chart. So let's look at the answer. Those with the highest level of authority should be placed at the top of the chart, and positions with the same level of authority must be on the same level on the chart. And other things you could look at is that the staff relationships are drawn to the side of the main line structure. 1B says, construct a simple line organizational chart showing 3 levels and 3 positions for a small private limited company. All right, so let's look at this chart. So we can see 3 levels here and 3 positions, right? So we have the general manager at the top, and of course the general manager is the one with the highest level of authority, followed by the marketing manager and the human resource manager. You see that the marketing manager and the human resource manager, they're at the same level in the organization. So you see they're beside each other, right? Across from each other on the organization. And then below them, you have the regular employees or subordinates that work in the human resource department and the marketing department. So we are clearly seeing 3 levels. Let's look at another one. Or you can just have a managing director, and below the managing director, you have the finance manager. And below the finance manager, you have the employees in the finance department. So at all times in this example, you make sure that there are 3 clear levels and 3 different positions in the organization. Let's look at 1C. It says list 3 duties of a personnel or human resource manager. All right, so let's look at some duties of the personnel or human resource manager. These persons can recruit workers, fire workers, organize training and development for workers. Other things include dealing with suspension and resignation of workers, and provide proper working conditions for workers. All right, D1 suggests 3 potential causes of conflict within an organization. So some potential causes of conflict could be things like workers are not being paid fairly, poor working conditions, and poor communication. Other things could include a dislike for the type of leadership style used by managers, or management giving special treatment to some workers, and these and many more could be some potential sources of conflict. D2 says explain 2 strategies that could be used to resolve conflict within an organization. All right. So one of the strategies could be through mediation and conciliation, where both parties will get a third party to intervene and suggest how best to resolve the issue. Through arbitration, where both parties go with what the arbitrator says. Or there are other strategies that could be used. Other strategies that could be used include through compromise, where both parties try to meet each other halfway. Through accommodation, where one party agrees to do what the other wants. So these are many more are some strategies that could be used to resolve conflict. Let's now look at 2A. Michelle invented a unique household product and wants to start her own business. List 4 characteristics she should display as an entrepreneur. Can you think of some characteristics of an entrepreneur? All right. So we have like take calculated risk, creative, persistent, flexible. Others that you could put is goal oriented, innovative, and persevering. Let's look at 2B. Outline each of the following roles of the entrepreneur: accessing funds and organizing. So when we talk about accessing funds, the entrepreneur needs to work out how he's going to get funds to start his business, such as bank loan, personal savings, or through a venture capitalist. When it comes to organizing, this involves bringing together all the factors of production, as you know, land, labor, and capital, to ensure that the business can properly function. Make sure that you get the right skilled trained workers, make sure you have the right machine and equipment to get the job done, all of that. So you put all of those factors together for the business to properly function. All right, let's look at C. Paul and his partner are seeking to establish a business. For each of the following statements, identify the steps they have taken. 1. Paul came up with an idea to place custom designs on sports car. 2. Paul met with his partner and determined how much raw material and capital and how many workers they would need to start the business. 3. The partners went around the community asking people if they would be interested in having custom designs on their cars and how much they would be willing to pay. Fourth one, the partners created a document which summarized the production, marketing, and financial elements of the business to present to potential investors. Now, think about it. Which step of establishing a business would go at each of these areas? All right, so the first one where Paul came up with an idea to place custom designs on sports cars, that's conceptualizing. He has come up with a business idea. The second one, Paul met with his partner and determined how much raw material and capital, so it's identifying the resources, identification of resources. What will the business need? What type of material? What type of capital? How many workers? All of those things. And the fact that they went around the community asking people if they would be interested in having custom designs. And so for number 3, it would be market research. And the fourth and final one, where they created a document which summarized the production, marketing, and financial elements of the business, that's simply a business plan. Let's look at D. Describe one key functional area of a business. Whichever functional area you choose, you will need to describe it, whether it be human resource, marketing, production, finance. You will just need to briefly describe it, okay? So for example, marketing is responsible to ensure that customers are aware of the products and services of the business. The department will engage in various promotional activities, such as price reductions, free samples, etc., to get the goods and services to be sold, right? If you're looking at, for example, the production department, functional area, then you would say that this area is responsible for making the goods to meet customer needs, ensure that goods are of excellent quality to satisfy customers. All right, let's look at E. Explain 2 ways in which planning can improve the operation or success of a business. All right, let's look at some ways. Planning will allow for the manager or owner to plan for what they want to achieve. So, therefore, they will set their goals. Everyone will know what they are working for to or towards and be motivated to achieve those goals. The second way is that planning will help the business to prepare for emergencies or unusual events in order for the business to remain open. This will help the business to think about worst case scenarios and plan how to deal with them. All right, let's look at 3A. Define each of the following terms: production and productivity. Production is the process of converting input, that is raw material, to output, that's goods and services, to satisfy the needs and wants of consumers. Productivity, this is how much output can be obtained from a given level of input. Let's look at B. Identify 2 factors that can influence the supply of labor to a business. Can you think of any? All right, so let's look at our answers. What the 2 factors are. So the first one, the number of persons trained or qualified can affect the supply of labor. The salary or wages given for a particular job, that can affect the supply of labor. People may not want to work for a little salary or wage that they think is too small. Other factors could be size and structure of the population and migration. C says, describe 2 factors that can influence the productivity of labor. All right, let's see what the answer is. 1, level of machinery used. The more capital intensive a business, the more productive it will be. Motivation of staff. The more motivated workers are, the harder and better they will work. And other factors, of course, that can influence productivity is the level of education and training of workers, and also the health of the workers. And understand that it can either influence them positively or negatively. So if a business, for example, the level of machinery used, if a business does not have much machinery, or equipment using, then of course productivity can be low. However, if they have a lot of machinery, machine and equipment and so on, their productivity will increase. Let's look what D says. Differentiate between subsistence production and domestic production. Subsistence production is when persons provide goods and services for themselves and their families. And domestic production is when goods and services are provided for the local market. Let's look what E says. Explain 1 positive and 1 negative impact on a business which result from improvements in technology. So remember, 1 positive impact, 1 negative impact. And you are to be explaining them. A positive impact is that the business will be able to operate more efficiently, as less mistakes will be made as would be done by people. Therefore, the business will be able to offer its goods and services at a faster rate. For example, a machine will move faster to fill bottles with juice than someone doing it. Other positive impact, reduced labor costs and production costs. Negative impact, the technology will cause persons to lose their jobs, as the technology oftentimes can easily do the job that several persons will be needed to get it done. Other negative impact is that persons may not be trained to operate the new technology. All right, so those are some positive and negative impact which can result from improvement in technology. All right, let's look at 4A. List 4 marketing activities. Can you think of any? All right, so some marketing activities include advertisement, publicity, sales promotion, personal selling. Others include pricing, distribution, and market research. Outline 2 elements of the traditional marketing mix. All right, so let's look at the answer. Product. These are the goods and services that are provided by the business to be sold. When it comes to promotion, these are different strategies that are implemented to ensure that customers and potential customers become aware of the product, such as advertising. Yeah, and the other elements in the marketing mix are price and place, and of course you will need to outline them. C says, describe each of the following methods of promoting sales: public relations and sales promotions. All right. Public relations. This involves ensuring that information about the business in the public is good. The aim is to have the business be seen in a good light in the eyes of the public, good reputation. The business may do things like donating to charity. Now, when it comes to sales promotions, these are activities designed to increase the sales of a product in the short term, such as free samples of product, price reductions, and to get a free product for buying. And to get a free product for buying a product. Like they would say, buy one, get one free. All right. Let's move to the next question. Kevin and Marlo have been thinking of setting up a cell phone and accessories business together. Define the term retailing. Retailing is when certain businesses sell goods in small quantities so that consumers can easily get them. They sell goods to the final consumers. All right, D2 says, describe 3 suitable types of retail outlets that Kevin and Marla could consider setting up. All right, they could consider setting up a shop. These are usually small and does not sell a wide variety of goods. They do not usually sell goods in large quantities. They could also engage in e-commerce, and this is where they can sell their goods online. They would create a website or a system for customers to order their goods from anywhere in the world and have the goods shipped off to the customers. They could also engage in telemarketing. This is where they can market and sell their goods via the telephone, and orders are made through the telephone. Other retail outlets could be mail order selling. All right, we're on to the final question, number 5. So let's go. A says, state one major function of each of the following economic institutions: Caribbean Community and the World Trade Organization. Caribbean Community, CARICOM, is there to promote economic integration and cooperation among Caribbean member countries. The World Trade Organization is there to set rules and agreements for trading among nations. 5B, outline one way in which governments can alleviate each of the following economic problems: unemployment, overpopulation, and migration. For unemployment, the governments can develop the manufacturing, distribution, and export sectors in the country. More businesses would need to be created to do this, which will increase employment. When it comes to overpopulation now, the government can have a family planning program in place to educate persons about different birth control methods that are available, and also to make sure that these are available for free. One way for migration is that the government can offer higher paying jobs to public sector workers. And in some cases, you find that public sector workers who are doing the same type of job as those in the private sector, their salary tend to be lower than those in the private sector. So the government can try to pay the workers better, so that they will not end up leaving their jobs. C says, define the term Define the term economic dualism. This is where an economy is divided into two distinct sectors, where one is technologically advanced or is considered to be the modern sector, and the other is technologically retarded or backward sector. Outline two benefits of obtaining foreign direct investment. One, it creates employment as new businesses will set up within the country. Two, it will also bring with it knowledge and technology that local businesses can also benefit from. And of course, this will help the economy to grow. All right, the final question now. Explain two ways in which Caribbean governments can assist in the development of the manufacturing sector of their countries. One of the ways is that the government can provide training for persons to work in the manufacturing sector. The business will have a greater chance to operate efficiently when it has the necessary skilled and competent workers it needs. Also, another way is that the government can provide financing for these businesses at lower interest rate than what other financial institutions are offering. With this, businesses will be able to expand and buy new machine and equipment. All right, this is it for the Principles of Business 2018, May-June 2018, paper 2 exam paper. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Hope you learned something. See you next time.